Hi, my name is Lissy and welcome to June Brush of the Month tutorial in which we are going to color the bottom right flower in Procreate in what I call my style. We drew these flowers on Patreon with my patrons in April as one of the courses that we have. Every month we have a course together in which we draw different things. And that month we were observing different flowers from reality and we drew them as we saw them in Procreate. So there was no tracing or anything. We just learned how to draw these shapes in Procreate. And then we inked it. So this is what we did with patrons. It's an inked flower, but now we are going to do this flower in a different way. I already put this flower on a different layer or different file, and I already lowered the opacity of the sketch. For you, you have the peony here that you can just stamp out with whatever color you want, and you can just modify the size of your sketch. Doesn't matter how big you want and how blurry it gets when you size it up, because we are going to draw over it. So it really doesn't matter what size you need or size you need for your drawing. Yes. What else I wanted to share is that I usually don't use Studio Pen, but I included Studio Pen so you don't have to go down and look for it in the brushes library. But I usually use gouache brushes for coloring, because the Lunaro gouache is one of my favorites. Wow, maybe I shouldn't have picked this color. But the point is that, I think I will just go on and pick a different color so you can actually see what's happening. So it layers really nicely, and it has a bit of difference in color, so it actually looks like gouache, and this is my preferred way of drawing this. But since there's only one brush of the month, unfortunately, we have to do the second best thing, which is I think Studio Pen. I like Studio Pen as well. It's good for smaller designs where you wouldn't be able to see the details anyways. So yes, and otherwise we are going to use the Nerve that is from my Lunaro brush set. And as you can see, there's many other watercolor brushes here that we are unfortunately not be able to use now because we only use one. But yes, this is my Lunaro set. It's, as always, 15% off because of the brush of the month. So go get it if you haven't had it yet. So now we are going to start with an outline, because that's how my style usually is. And I'm going to opt in for the color that I usually use, which is kind of a dark purple. And we are going to go in with the Studio Pen. As you realize that I have these settings on the Studio Pen, I usually use the middle one for a 6000 by 7500 canvas. If your canvas is smaller, then you will have to use something smaller than that, because otherwise it will look really chunky on your canvas. And I realize that most people use smaller canvas than I do. It's all my idea on, I just... I want to make sure if I decide on making a print of anything, then I do have a large canvas drawing, or if I am selling my design, then I can offer the large option of it. So I don't sit there and be like, oh my God, do I have to redraw this now? So I usually draw with the largest canvas that I can handle. And this is the largest that I can handle. Or that's what I am thinking. Maybe I could handle a bigger one since I don't use all that many layers. But if you use a lot of layers, then unfortunately you have to opt for smaller version as well. So as you can see, I am just tracing over the sketch. One thing I can tell you about this is that I usually do some variation in the line itself. So sometimes it's thicker, sometimes it's not. That's to make the drawing more interesting for me. And I said it in the Patreon tutorial as well when we looked at this flower that, wow, it's a complicated flower, hard to figure it out. But we did figure it out at the end in the sketch phase. And if you are confused, just go for the part that looks like an easy part and then just connect the lines. I guess it's the only way to really look at it when you didn't draw the sketch, I guess, because for you it doesn't make as much sense as it does for me, since I was the one who studied this flower already. So it might be a bit more complicated for you as your brain doesn't have that information in it. I'm sorry. You can still find that tutorial on my Patreon though if you want. In any case, I am just drawing out the outlines just very smoothly, very roughly. I think this version of Studio Pen that I copied has the maximum streamline. That's because I have really shaky hands. Partly because of some of my medical problems. And because of that, I need a high streamline. But if it's too much for you or you prefer less streamline, please go ahead and change it or just use the normal Studio Pen. Really, there's like not much difference between that and this one. It's only that I personalized it for myself and I only included it so you don't have to scroll down all the way to the end of your brush list to be able to find it when we use these brushes in this tutorial. For the middle, I'm not planning on coloring it any special way, and I usually don't color it when I draw flowers like this. What I do is draw out the middle parts as is with my line art color, and just color in the middle with the petal colors because there is really no reason for me to I don't know, I just think it looks cooler without making it different. But yeah, we are drawing in my style right now, so if you think that this would look cooler if you would say you would draw in like this and then color every single part of the middle as is, then please go ahead and do so, because I don't want you to feel like you are forced into drawing in my style, because this is just one way of drawing, and there's no drawing style that is superior or inferior to the others. So I'm just showing you what I would do and how I'm going to use my brushes. But in that sense, this one is not an important part, how you draw the middle. So when I turn off the sketch layer, you can see that it looks okay. It could be a bit better, maybe, with some details, maybe. So to do that, I will turn on the sketch layer again, make a new layer. This is important. It will be important in the future. And I am going to draw some lines, very few of them. I am not going to make a full ink drawing here, just to indicate which way the petals are going, how they are rounded. You can see that I'm breaking down this line into smaller lines. It's just, again, how I draw. I like breaking down lines, and also this is something I got used to when I use my inking brushes. The real feel ones, I think they look better when they are broken down. And nowadays I use a different brush, which is a monoline one from, okay, now you will know the secret, but, well, it's from the March Pouch of Secrets, the one that I use. And I don't know, maybe you saw the portraits that I did lately. That's from the March Pouch of Secrets, and I love it, honestly. It's really nice. It feels like almost ballpoint pen, but it has some pressure on it. And I've been doing this broken up lines with that, and like, this is my jam. This is my true calling. You also don't have to put the lines exactly where I am putting them. It's just I am just feeling it out where I would draw them. It's a very annoying thing when someone says this, isn't it? That I just know where to put it. But unfortunately, I can't give you an idea, because most of this is coming with practice. So I've been drawing these kind of flowers for over a year. And in the beginning, I was like, well, I will put it everywhere. And that was fine too. I think they looked okay. So you can't really screw it up, really. But the more I practiced, and yeah, I'm telling you, it's been 1 year now. It's more in my hand to know, I guess, where I want them. I'm not saying they are the correct spots, because they probably are not. I'm going to turn off my sketch, in fact, and see if I like it. And I'm praying that I'm on the right layer. You should check it too. Yes, I'm on the right layer. Always check the layers. There are a couple of things I wanted to address in this video. One of them is why the tutorial is late. It's because of some of my well, I have a couple of disabilities and depression, which I think is really widely known. And unfortunately, things have happened in the beginning or the end of May and the beginning of June that has led me to not be able to function, really. That's the only way I can put it. I was not well. It's only the 5th of June now, so it's really not been much of a time to recover. But I feel guilty enough now to be able to do this. The guilt is stronger than my depression. So I'm sorry for joking about it. That's how I cope. So joking and sarcasm. So I'm sorry if that's offensive in some way. I hope it's not, but yeah. It was just too much. I got a new health diagnosis. I had problems or having problems with friends, and it's just not a great time for me. I think 2023 is just not my year. It's been a lot of things, which leads me to the other thing I wanted to apologize for is my I feel like I am talking too breathily or like always out of breath. Well, it seems like my heart problems are not getting better. In fact, they are quite stagnant or getting worse even. Not sure if it's because of the stress of this period or because some other issue that is underlying still. But I just wanted to apologize if I'm too breathy or out of breath when I'm talking, because unfortunately I can't really help it. It's how I am lately. So yeah, I'm so sorry about it. There, I think I'm okay with the lines, and I saw one place where the line art is not connecting. There's probably more than one actually, but I'm just going to fix my line art on the first layer that we did. Probably easier if I turn off what I did now. Just checking if everything is connected to everything. Because we are going to color, and this will be so nice and so fast, I promise you. So we are probably like almost, or if not, but we are probably like through half. So make a new layer below your layer of the line art. And now you go to this layer 2, what is layer 2 for me, which is my line art. Not this one, that is the details, but the line art. Maybe I should rename it. Make it a reference. So click reference. And on layer 4, which is below the line art, we are going to color drop everything that we hold dear. So I'm going to pick a nice color. Let's see, totally not predictable at all that I'm looking for a pink color. I would never draw anything pink ever. I'm joking, I always draw pink. That's why I'm looking for something different that I'm hoping to like not be as predictable. But maybe I should just, okay. I will embrace the pink. You pull the color from the top, right? And pull it on top of the petals that you want to color. This is one way to color, but the other and even easier way to color is to pull the color, drop it, and on the top there's continue filling, and now you have color drop activated. So from now on, you just tap away the petals that you want to color. It's super simple. And I don't know if you know those games where you're not supposed to color the same areas next to each other. Well, try to play that game now. That color the petals, but color the petals in a way that they don't touch so much. So only colored ones that are not touching as much. When you are done, you make a new layer and then make the original one that you just did a bit lower opacity, so you know that this one is already done. And now you're going to color drop on different petals that you haven't done in the previous one. Again, you will try to do it so they don't touch as much. They can touch, it's fine, but not a lot. So you can make a pretty design on them later with just using clipping mask. Again, we are lowering the opacity to be even lower. So you see that layer 1, layer 2 are different ones. And then we are going to color drop again on a different layer. And finally, I will put all the other colors or all the other parts that are left in this last one. I did not lower the opacity, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. So I will lower it. If you accidentally click on the line art, I will show. If you accidentally click on the line art, it makes this red line around it, or orange, or whatever color this is, salmon color around it. Undo it right away. And you can just keep doing the coloring after. It just ruins your line art, so that's the only reason to, just that. I think everything is colored now. If I pull the opacity up, it should be all colored except for the middle part. Yeah, but something is still not. Don't know why it's a different color, but we are going to rectify that. And on this last layer that I did, I'm going to just use the studio pen and fill it in the middle. This will be the bottom layer, so it should not show if you make random scribbles. Now, this looks really boring, and it did not make much sense that we did that kind of coloring, right? But it will make sense soon. We are going to make a clipping mask above each of these petal layers, like so. We're just going to clipping mask and then clipping mask, except for the last one. I will keep the last one as a shadow layer, and at this point I'm going to change my background color to my usual pinkish reddish background color, so I can see the final effect better. And I am going to add a little stem here, so it looks a bit cuter. Make sure that the size is the same, not like I did. And that's it. It's a little bit of cut flower. And we are going to color that one too. Since it's still on the reference layer, we can just color drop on top of it, and then it will be colored. Okay, so the clipping masks. we are going to pick a very pretty color. Completely shocking. I'm going to pick a yellow one, and around, I'm going to mark it out on a different layer where I'm going to use my pen. I'm going to start from around up here and move my pencil towards this part, so it will add more and more of this effect on top of my flower. And I will do it from this way as well, and this way as well, and this way as well. And then it will do a watercolor effect on my flower. So I'm going to turn this layer off, and then I will get my color and brush back. And actually, no, I will put the layer back so you know what I'm doing. I'm starting from the top right, and then I am adding the watercolor. And then I'm going to do it from different sides. And then it has a bit of watercolor now on it. Now, this you usually see me do is that I am changing the saturation and the brightness. There is no shame in doing this, so please go ahead and do this. Especially with this kind of art that I am doing, I find it really useful because it makes more interesting results. And for me, I just want to look at pretty stuff. It's really not about, oh, how perfect it looks like. I want to look at it because it's pretty, not because it's perfect. So I'm going to pick a different kind of color now. Maybe a deep pink hue, I'm thinking. And add this. I think I am going too big on this now. The same way, just going from the sides to add some depth to these leaves and different colors. Leaves, petals. I am so sorry, guys. And for the third color, I am going to pick maybe an orange. No, this orange is way too close to the normal color or the original color of these petals, but I don't want another yellow though. So what shall we do in this scenario? We go purple-ish. Yeah, we go purple-ish. I'm not 100% happy with the color of the base of this flower. So that can be changed, but it's a bit. I'm adding some of the same colors on different petals. Sorry, I am having rushing thoughts right now, so that's why I'm changing the subject so fast. It was not a cut, it was me changing the subject very fast. Yeah, and I am thinking that this would benefit from a bit more of a lighter background. And below the reference layer, you make a new layer. and you will pick a dark brown on the reddish spectrum. You will pick up your studio pen, and now we are going to draw shadows. We are going to go multiply this layer, and we will lower the opacity to like 50%, but we can lower it later as well. And you just draw the curve of the petal as your shadow. This is the most time-consuming part of this drawing, and the most that you have to think about as well. Where do the shadows go? How do they go? And how do you convey it? In the meantime, I am thinking about the base color, and that I am going to deepen the color of this. Yes, I am checking every hue. And I think this is good. We are going to add some filters at the end as well. Filters, overlays. I like adding overlays because it makes a soft look, and I love when my drawings look soft. I just love this soft look. But if you don't, then please feel free to not, because you know, styles, freedom. You can do what you would like to do. You don't have to do every part of this like this. Like, take my guides as my as technique guides, not full on, oh, you must do this otherwise it's ruined kind of guides. I can't even watch tutorials because of that, because I always have that feeling when I watch tutorials that if I do it differently than the person, then I am doing it wrong, and I am wrong, my art is wrong, and yeah, I can't do that. So when it comes to this flower, I decided that the light source is almost entirely above it, but it almost won't even matter at the end because we are going to add shiny effect. This is something that I get asked a lot, how I do the shiny. So we are going to do the shiny. So yeah. Those of you who already have Lunaro might find this tutorial to be a bit repetitive, since I teach something similar in the Lunaro set tutorials as well. One of the tutorials is how to draw in my style, but with the actual Lunaro brushes. So not just using one of them, but actually with gouache, if I remember correctly. Oh my god, now I have a bit of a doubt in myself. And I hope you are not very bored here. And for you, this is a completely familiar practice, what I'm doing right now. And for some of my patrons as well, because we did something with this, or with the Lunaro technique rather, in January together as a drawing course. Although we did not draw flowers then, but we drew a light bulb that had all the planets in it. It was pretty cool, I think. And I just thought about another thing I wanted to address because of the silence. is why there's no music under this video. it's it's because we both on Patreon and like on my own as well decided that it is better to have the freedom to put your own music under this, and I will put a note of this in the beginning of the video to put your own music under it, because it's just, I don't want to be repetitive with the same musics from the YouTube library. It's not fun for either you or me, and I think you would enjoy it way more if you could just listen to your own music while you're drawing, just hanging out, learning new stuff, and just overall having fun while drawing is not having to listen to some other person's music. So from now on, for the foreseeable future at least, I will not put music under my videos, but I will let you decide what we are going to listen to. And by the way, if you have any recommendations for people, please leave it in the comment, because I think that would be really cool if we would have an entire playlist of things to listen to while drawing. That would be really amazing. So leave it in the comments what you would think to listen to under this one. I usually listen to, when I listen to music, I usually listen to podcasts, to be honest. And when I listen to podcasts, then if I don't forget about it, then I put on some rain sounds as well. And that can be really nice as well. So I like having rain sounds while someone is talking. So that's an idea from me. Or some kind of ambience or piano music, or even sometimes, very, very rarely, I like lo-fi in the background, but definitely not something that has lyrics in it or a singing, because that can be a bit bothering. I always think that adding the shadows is so redundant. Like, it doesn't make any difference. But I will show you how much difference it makes. Like, I really like when I turn off the shadows and turn it back on, and like, whoa, this is like so much difference. Like, I can't tell anymore because it's already so shaded that the shadows are there, because it almost looks natural. That, yeah, of course, like there's shadows there. It's like no biggie. But when I turn it off to check how it looks like, it's always so nice to see that they makes so much different. It looks so flat without it. Like, it looks so natural, right? It has shadows on it, whatever, and then when you turn it off, whoa, so flat. So yeah, it makes all the difference to have shadows. I'm going to add my overlays now. I actually don't change colors on this. It's always this color, except first we turn off the reference and then add the overlay. And overlay around this percentage, duplicate, and I use this pink. And this also doesn't look like much change, but I promise you it is a lot of change. I will show you once I set them to a percentage that I like. You can even put or combine these. And for me, this is a lot of change. It softens it up a lot more. And I like when it's looking soft. I don't like this yellow though. Oh, my iPad is dying. Nice. I think it's too jarring for some reason. And at the same time, I'm like, oh, it would be cool to have blue. The reason why I want blue, because now I'm kind of like, it would be so nice to have a rainbow flower. It's always so nice to have a rainbow flower. This is definitely one of the downsides of the big canvas, that your Procreate can get really slow with it. I know mine can, and it can't really handle my big canvases so much after a while, unfortunately. I think it looks cute now. So I'm going to delete these arrows because we don't need them anymore. These two layers are line art. I'm going to merge them because we don't need them anymore. I did not put shadow on the stem, so I'm going to rectify that error. Wrong layer, I can tell, because it's not multiply. And now we are going to put some highlights. For the highlight, I really don't worry too much about what color it is, to be honest. I pick a light pink, but it will not show as much anyways. I put it on add, and I use a studio pen, but I go into studio pen settings, properties, and put the maximum size way up. And when it's like this, then it makes nice fat strokes, even like blobs. We are going to make 2 layers of highlights. We are going to go with the big blobs first, and put this one above my layer for my line art layer for now, because I want to see how the blobs are. Yes, I know it is jarring now. We are going to lower the opacity. I am doing this to make a difference in and add some interest in the petals. I noticed that I never put it where the shadows are. Now we are lowering the opacity and put it below the layer where we have the line art on. And we are going to make another add layer and pick a smaller size of studio pen and do kind of the same technique that we did with drawing the details of each petal, except we are doing it with blobs. These blobs already follow the curve of each petal. This is like dewdrops on it. That's how I like to think about it. And I will go one extra step after this that I don't usually do, but sometimes I do, and I want to show you anyways, because maybe you would like it with this drawing, and I want you to be able to learn that technique, to have like a bit of more ideas on how to use this. I like when it creates these overlay parts with the other blobs that we put down in the beginning, because it makes it more interesting looking. I wanted to make the opacity bigger, but some of these are not the same shape, and it kind of bothers me. Okay, and now I'm going to show you another thing that you can do is make a layer above what you are, where your line art is. No, actually, let's do the part that I do want to do first. Take the color white and on a new layer, make just circles, fill out circles. This is the magic effect. You can even go and do bloom on it if you think that it's too close to the highlights. And what else we can do is make a new layer, make it clipping mask above. This is the line art layer. And pick a yellowish color and the studio pen on the biggest one. Wrong layer. And just do some circles on some parts. Then you go to Gaussian blur. You blur it a bit. And bloom. Nice large size. And I think mine is a bit too yellow, so I'm going to make it a bit more rosé-ish. And now it looks like it's an animal pin. And we are done. No, we are not done. You know what we missed, right? You have to know what we missed. Do you? Do you know? Do you know? You still have like a couple of seconds to guess. While I'm looking for the color, you can guess what we are missing from this, because you should never give out any drawing out of your hands without, yes, your signature. We just stamp it out. Well, my pencil died, so I'm stamping it out with my finger. Thankfully, I could stamp it out with my finger. So, this is our finished drawing. And I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, even though it was a bit later than usual. I hope you learned a bit from me. I've been asked so many times how I draw these kind of flowers on my illustrations, and I'm just really happy that I could share it. It really does look better if you use all the Lunaro brushes, but, well, I feel like it. But maybe you like it like this as well, and I hope you enjoyed it. So, don't forget that you can only download these brushes until the end of the month, and you can only use the 15% off code on the Lunaro set until the end of the month as well. So, yes. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.